Hey guys, welcome back to Building a Cyber Lab at Home with Kyle Slawzik. And in this lecture, this is kind of the last of the virtualization talks in this section. And we're going to talk about a program called VirtualBox. VirtualBox is an open source virtualization software developed by Oracle. And so being open source, it's free. You can modify it any way you wish as well. So I highly recommend VirtualBox if you're not willing to spend the money on VMware. It really does have a lot of the same robust features that VMware does. It's a little less efficient than VMware, but you're not paying for it, so there's your first benefit. But yeah, so with that, let's jump into the software.
All right, so this is the Oracle VirtualBox Manager and the GUI for the interface there, and you can see it looks a lot different than the VMware interfaces that we've been seeing. The beauty of Oracle VirtualBox is, one, it's free, it's open source, and it's cross-platform, so you can run the same application on Windows as you can on Linux and as you can on Mac. So just like in our other lectures, we're going to build a VM. So we'll click New, and you come up here, and I'm going to type in Ubuntu. And you can see that I type Ubuntu, and it comes up with the type is Linux. And you can see there's a couple of different types here: Microsoft, Solaris, BSD, and then the version here is Ubuntu 64-bit, but you can see that there's a bunch of other different flavors of Linux that have that Oracle VirtualBox has profiles for. So we'll continue here. It recommends 512. We want to be standard, and we want to give it a gig of memory. So we'll continue with that. Oops. There we are. Continue. All right, hard drive. Now, the hard drive is done a little bit differently in VirtualBox than it is in VMware. Because VirtualBox is open source, you can choose different styles of virtual hard drives. So we're actually going to create the virtual hard drive now, and it's going to ask us what kind of virtual hard drive file do you want. VDI is VirtualBox disk image, and that's kind of the standard if you're going to stick with VirtualBox. However, you can do a VDMK, which is the VMware or the VMware style virtual hard drive, and a couple others, Parallels, QEMU, and whatnot. But we'll stick with VDI, VirtualBox disk image. And we want to do dynamically allocated for the physical hard drive here. So what that means is that I have given it an 8 gig hard drive, and the initial installation may only take up a gig of that 8 gigs. So the virtual hard drive will be 1 gig large. If we chose fixed size, the file for the virtual hard drive would be 8 gigs large. And so VMware does this automatically. In VirtualBox, you actually have the option to choose both. But we'll do dynamically allocated here. We'll do an 8 gig. All right. And so now you see that we have this Ubuntu 2, which is what we just created. And we have all this system information, 1024 meg, RAM, hard drive, video memory is only 12 meg, so on and so forth. One thing you'll notice, though, is that when we created this VM, we didn't specify an ISO image to do the installation from. We actually have to do that before we can start this VM, or else it'll just start and kind of error out saying there's nothing installed on the hard drive. So we'll click Settings on this one, and we'll go to Storage, and you can see that you have 2 storage devices. You have your SATA device, which has got your Ubuntu 2 VDI, which is the virtual disk image, and then you've got this empty CD drive. And we can click on that, and we can click this little CD drive here, and we'll choose a virtual CD image. And on my desktop, I've got this Ubuntu ISO, and we'll go from there. Alright, so now that that is mounted, we can hit Start, and you'll see that it starts up just like it did in VMware. So with that, I'm going to actually close it out just like I've done with all the others. And we're just going to power off the machine. And because I've got this Ubuntu running here, and so we've got it running and it's doing just fine. We're actually going to minimize it again, go over and just click the settings. And we'll go over each of the settings here. We'll show you. So the system here, again, you can change the amount of memory. You can change the boot order here. CD drive is second to floppy and to hard drive. The processor, you can give it 1 or 8 cores. And then the acceleration, if you've got AMD or VTV, these are kind of virtualization acceleration protocols within the processor on the physical drive. So if you've got those installed, you can enable the hardware virtualization. Display is pretty self-explanatory. You can give it a 12 gig or 128 meg, I'm sorry, a 12 meg or 128 meg video card. Turn on remote display if you want to enable the remote server here. This is just like the VNC option we saw in VMware. And then video capture. You can actually, if you are doing a screencast, for example, you can boot up your VM and start doing a video capture, and it will capture what's going on in the screen. So that's pretty cool. Actually, VMware has the ability to do this as well. Storage, we kind of already have looked at that. We can now, unmount the CD drive if necessary. Audio, again, enable the audio. Here's your networking, right? You can have up to 4 adapters. This one right here is attached to NAT, and we can do it bridged. We can change it to an internal network or a host-only network. Ports, serial, we don't care too much about, but USB here, you can add USB filters, and you can actually set it up so that, anytime a specific device is mounted, it automatically mounts to the virtual machine. And then finally, here's your shared folders if you want to add those or not. So that's VirtualBox in a nutshell. It's really a great system, especially since it has all the same features that VMware Workstation does. It's just free. So it's your choice as to what software you want to go with, but I highly recommend VirtualBox if you're looking for a free option. So that's it for the VirtualBox overview. We'll see you in the next section.